How intelligence becomes your deadliest weapon against yourself. Ever notice how the brightest minds make the most catastrophic screw-ups? Meanwhile, average Joe lives his life without blowing anything up. Take Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes, the most logical detective ever written. The man who built an empire on deduction believed in fairies. Yeah, you heard that right. He staked his reputation defending obviously fake photographs of tiny winged creatures. The guy who wrote about razor-sharp logic couldn't see through a hoax that fooled nobody else. And here's the dark secret nobody tells you. Intelligence is an armor. It's a double-edged sword that cuts deepest when you least expect it. Power Law 25 warns us, recreate yourself. Doyle was so trapped in his identity as a rational thinker that he couldn't reinvent himself when dealing with grief and spiritualism. He applied logic where he needed emotional intelligence. Sound familiar? Are you doing the same thing? Trusting blindly in your abilities while ignoring every warning sign. Intelligence creates a deadly illusion that you're always right. It's like walking through a minefield blindfolded, believing your brilliance will guide you. It won't. It'll blow you to pieces. There's a fascinating conspiracy theory in academic circles. The real power players manipulate geniuses to fail at critical moments. Think about it. How many brilliant scientists ended their lives broke? How many inventors watched their creations stolen? It's not bad luck. It's by design. Those who control the game don't want players who are too smart. They want predictable players. And geniuses are extremely predictable because they believe too much in themselves. They follow patterns, stick to methods, trust their proven formulas, even when the game has changed completely. The paradox is vicious. The smarter you are, the more blind spots you develop. Your brain privileges what it already knows and ignores what it should learn. You become a prisoner of your own references. It's like having a detailed map of one city and trying to use it in a completely different one. You'll get lost, but you'll insist the map is correct. Intelligence tricks you into believing you dominate territories you've never stepped foot in. And the more degrees, titles, and recognition you accumulate, the harder it becomes to admit ignorance. Here's another layer. Geniuses tend to overcomplicate the simple. They see patterns where none exist, create elaborate theories for basic problems. An average person sees a locked door and looks for the key. The genius spends hours calculating the molecular composition of the lock. Result? He stays outside while the idiot is already inside eating cake. Intelligence becomes theater, performance, a need to impress. And while you're busy being brilliant, you're failing to be effective. You're solving equations nobody asked for while missing the obvious solution right in front of your face. Practical action. This week, identify one area of your life where you trust your abilities too much. Could be a relationship, an investment, a project. Now force yourself to consult someone less intelligent than you in that area. Listen without judging. Tactical humility might save you from the disaster your intellectual pride is preparing. If you've ever made a stupid mistake thinking you were too smart to fail, write in the comments. Trap. Hit like if you're starting to understand the real game. And subscribe because what comes next will flip your brain inside out. Why smart people are the easiest targets for manipulation. Here's a truth that'll make your stomach turn. The smarter you are, the easier you are to control. Sounds insane? Then explain why so many fads fall into cults. Why brilliant executives lose everything in Ponzi schemes. Why privileged minds defend destructive ideologies tooth and nail. The answer is disturbing. Intelligence without wisdom is fuel for manipulators. And the masters of power have known this for centuries. They don't fear smart people, they farm them. Power Law 27 reveals. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Geniuses have a desperate need to be right. They've invested years building their intellectual identities. When someone validates those identities with sophisticated arguments, the genius bites. He's not evaluating truth. He's protecting ego. An experienced manipulator doesn't need to fool a genius with simple lies. He just needs to wrap the lie in academic paper, add complex references, and watch the genius convince himself. Check out this historical conspiracy. During the Cold War, Both sides recruited brilliant scientists not just for expertise, but because they were easily seduced by ideology. The Manhattan Project brought together some of the smartest physicists alive. Many genuinely believed they were saving civilization. Some realized too late they'd built humanity's potential extinction. Their intelligence was used as a veil. They were too smart to see they were puppets. And you? How many times has your intelligence served as a smokescreen preventing you from seeing the hand that manipulates you? There's a psychological phenomenon called sophistication bias. Smart people believe that because they understand complex concepts, they're immune to simple manipulations. Fatal error. The most devastating cons are precisely those that exploit this arrogance. Charles Ponzi didn't fool stupid people. He fooled sophisticated investors, experienced bankers, folks who thought they were too smart to fall for scams. He sold exclusivity and complexity, and everyone bought it because their intelligence screamed, "We're too special to be deceived." Turns out, feeling special is the first step to being played. There's also the intellectual herd effect. Geniuses surround themselves with other geniuses and create sophisticated echo chambers. Everyone agrees. Everyone validates. Everyone reinforces the same ideas. Looks like wise consensus. It's just groupthink with fancier vocabulary. When everyone in the room is intelligent, nobody questions the fundamental premises. Everyone assumes someone already verified. Nobody verified. And then you have rooms full of brilliant people marching confidently toward the cliff, discussing the best way to fall. The cruelest trap? Geniuses underestimate emotions. They believe logic is everything. But human decisions are 90% emotional. So the genius ignores his own feelings, represses instincts, suffocates intuitions. And when manipulation arrives disguised as logic, he has no emotional defenses. He's disarmed. The manipulator plays emotional chess, while the genius insists on playing intellectual chess. Wrong game, wrong board, guaranteed defeat. Intelligence becomes the very thing that blinds you. Practical action. Identify a strong belief you have that's validated by smart people around you. Now, deliberately seek out the most devastating criticisms against that belief. Not to change your mind, but to test if you're inside an intellectual bubble. If you feel anger reading criticism, congratulations, you've been captured. If you've realized you were being manipulated while thinking you were too smart, right? Illusion. Like if this is messing with your certainties. And subscribe, because we haven't reached the bottom of this hole yet. How geniuses sabotage themselves without even noticing. Let's talk about the silent self-destruction nobody teaches you. Geniuses don't need external enemies. They're perfectly capable of ruining their own lives alone, and they do it with frightening efficiency. Howard Stark, brilliant inventor and businessman, sabotaged his own legacy through obsession and emotional neglect. Wait, wrong universe. Let's talk about someone real. Nikola Tesla. The man who lit up the world died broke and alone in a New York hotel room, feeding pigeons and talking to them like friends. He had visions 20 years ahead of his time, but couldn't see one day ahead in his own life. How does this happen? Simple. Intelligence without self-awareness is a ticking time bomb. Power Law 46 warns, never appear too perfect. But geniuses do exactly the opposite. They build pedestals for themselves, believe their own propaganda, start performing genius instead of living it. And when you're on a pedestal, any step is a fall. Tesla became a prisoner of his own legend. He couldn't be human, vulnerable, or wrong. He had to be the perfect genius all the time. That pressure crushed him. He preferred to destroy everything rather than admit weakness. And you? How many masks of perfection are you wearing? How many of them are slowly suffocating you? Here's a disturbing theory from the power backstage. Systems are designed to break geniuses, not out of malice, but by design. Geniuses are unpredictable, hard to control, question too much. So the system offers the perfect poison: recognition, gives prizes, titles, fame, and the genius bites. Now, he has something to lose. Now, he needs to maintain the image. Now, he stops creating and starts preserving. Genius dies the moment it becomes a trademark. Look at history. How many revolutionary geniuses became conservatives after success? Almost all of them. The genius's self-sabotage has predictable patterns. First, paralyzing perfectionism. They never finish anything because nothing is good enough. Second, intellectual isolation. They despise anyone not operating at the same level, end up alone, lose perspective. Third, mental rigidity. They invest so much in one idea they can't pivot when it fails. Fourth, neglecting the basics. They focus on the complex and forget to eat, sleep, pay bills, maintain relationships. Their genius is built on foundations of sand. One strong wind and everything collapses. There's more. Geniuses develop a toxic relationship with failure. For them, failure isn't feedback. It's a certificate of fraud. They believe real geniuses don't fail, so when they fail, and everyone fails, they enter existential collapse. They start questioning everything. If I was wrong about this, maybe I was never really intelligent. The entire identity crumbles, and instead of learning from the mistake, they run from it, deny, rationalize, blame others. Anything except looking in the mirror and admitting, I'm human, and humans make mistakes. That simple admission feels like death to them. The genius's biggest saboteur is the belief that intelligence solves everything. Emotional problems? Intelligence will solve it. Failed relationships? Intelligence will fix it. Existential void? Intelligence will fill it. It won't. Intelligence is a tool, not a purpose. It's means, not end. Geniuses use the tool to build increasingly sophisticated prisons, and they die locked inside their own creations, looking outside, not understanding why they can't get out. The key was always simple: admit you don't have all the answers. Practical action: list 3 areas of your life you're neglecting because they seem too trivial for your intelligence. Could be health, basic relationships, personal finances. This week, dedicate time to one of them. Without intellectualizing, just do the basics well. Sometimes wisdom is in tying your own shoes correctly. If you've sabotaged yourself being too smart for your own good, right? Mirror. Like if you're recognizing these patterns in yourself. And subscribe because the last part will reveal how to escape this trap. Why? Real intelligence is knowing when to play dumb. We've arrived at the secret that separates thriving geniuses from imploding ones, and it goes against everything you've been taught. True mastery isn't about always being the smartest person in the room. It's about knowing when to fake stupidity, when to shut up, when to let others shine while you observe. Real power players understand this. Losers keep showing off their IQ. Lyndon B. Johnson, before becoming president, mastered this art. He played the simple Texas farm boy while absorbing every political maneuver around him. People underestimated him constantly. Meanwhile, he was building the most sophisticated political machine in Washington. He wasn't the most publicly intelligent. He was the most strategically smart. Power Law 21 teaches, play a sucker to catch a sucker. But there's a deeper layer. Play a sucker to survive among the smart. When you're obviously the most intelligent, you become a target. Everyone wants to take you down, test you, challenge you. You waste energy defending your intellectual territory instead of conquering new ground. It's exhausting and unproductive. Now imagine playing a different game. You observe, learn, absorb. Ask naive questions that reveal others' weaknesses. Let inflated egos self-destruct while you build power silently. While they're performing intelligence, you're accumulating it. There's an unspoken conspiracy among the truly powerful. They cultivate reputations as ordinary people. Sam Walton built Walmart into an empire while driving an old pickup truck and shopping at his own stores. He could have flaunted retail genius. He didn't. Why? Because visible intelligence attracts envy, relation, scrutiny. Invisible intelligence attracts opportunities. While everyone's busy admiring the colorful peacock, nobody notices the snake on the ground. And the snake eats. Always. The peacock just makes noise and gets hunted. Tactical intelligence is about turning off intellectual autopilot. Geniuses try to apply logic to everything. But life isn't logical. It's chaos, emotion, time, luck. Sometimes the dumb decision is the right one. Sometimes ignoring data and following instinct saves you. Sometimes admitting, "I don't know," opens doors that intellectual arrogance closes. Richard Feynman was a Nobel Prize physicist who played bongo drums and cracked safes for fun. He knew when to be technically brilliant and when to be humanly curious. That combination made him legendary. Not just smart. The genius's final trap is believing intelligence is destiny. It's not. It's just an initial advantage. How you use that advantage determines everything. You can use it to build ivory towers and die isolated, or you can use it to understand people, systems, power. You can be the misunderstood genius or the invisible strategist. You can impress or influence. You can be right or be effective. The choice was always yours. The paradox resolves like this: intelligence is a powerful tool in the hands of someone who knows it's not enough. Think about it. History's biggest disasters were caused by smart people who didn't know when to stop, when to retreat, when to admit error. Brilliant conquerors who invaded one country too many. Genius entrepreneurs who expanded too fast. Scientists who didn't ask, "Should I do this?" before, "Can I do this?" Intelligence took them far. Lack of wisdom destroyed them. Wisdom is knowing your limits. It's recognizing you don't have all the answers. It's having enough humility to ask for help. It's being intelligent about your own intelligence. That's the real game. Practical action. This week, in a situation where you'd normally show how much you know, stay quiet. Observe. Let others talk. See what you learn. When you're not worried about impressing anyone, test the power of silent intelligence. You'll be surprised how much precious information people hand over when they think you're harmless. If you understood that the real game isn't about being the smartest, right? Strategy. Like this video if it changed your perspective on genius. Subscribe for more content that challenges the obvious. And share with someone who needs to understand that intelligence without strategy is just wasted potential.